How Hinata, it's been 3 months since I and this slow-witted man got married. I can't call him otherwise. Well, really? What kind of childish behavior, and damn you, how could you say on the wedding night? Sorry, I don't want to yet. How? Sometimes I just want to run away to my true love, but so far this bastard has not flattered my virginity, alas. Of course, I know that I am a great actress, but to be so much. I was able to deceive all of Konoha that I loved this idiot, and at the same time I was able to build a full-fledged relationship with another man on the side. Although after the war there is a lot about him that was revealed, for example, that he is the son of the fourth. Although I don't need to say this, if I knew about it from the age of 3, when I accidentally overheard it at my father's clan meeting. Then this whole adventure was born. Well, come on, you remember the past and that's enough. It's time to try to drag this grief-stricken hero into the crap. May the Shinigami come with me. Pao Hinata. Meanwhile, our hero was resting on the hot springs, taking a break from exhausting training. Maybe everyone thinks that he is still lazy, but this is not true. In fact, he has been training since he was 4 years old, but he hid it from everyone, as well as his true capabilities, which more than once saved his 5th point. But then Kurama suddenly spoke. Naruto's Pao, hey blonde, so you're going to do Hyuga said as he spat out the fox, and don't hang noodles on my ears, but talk seriously, speak from your true self. So be so kind as to give your answer. Hiya. Okay, I'll say, I've already decided everything about her. I just need to wait for the honeymoon, and then everything will be fine. And believe me, you'll like what I'm cooking, Naruto said, unable to hold back a grin. Well, I'm not waiting. The fox said and turned off the mental connection. Pao Naruto. As the week passed, Hinata continued to hint at bed, but Naruto gave an ultimatum that it would happen on their honeymoon. And finally, the long-awaited day of dispatch came. Then at the gate the couple was seen off by their precious friends, but it did not last long. Naruto abruptly picked up Hinata in wedding style, activated Kurama mod, and hit the road. The road ahead of them was not fast. The destination was a small island located south of the Todoroki Shrine, where a mansion prepared by Naruto's clones was waiting for them. Passing through the country of the bear, our heroes got to the fair, where they stayed for a couple of days, and nothing interesting happened. Arriving at the place, a 2-story mansion appeared in front of Hinata's eyes, from what immediately caught the eye were a large balcony in which 8 people could fit, as well as a huge panoramic window that gave an excellent view of the shore. Wow, Naruto-kun, it's really a wonderful house. Surprisingly, it was her real opinion, without a drop of lies. Hinata has always liked nature. This is one of the things that she did not hide behind the guise of a cute and harmless girl. Well, I'm glad you liked it, honey. Let's lay out all the things and then do what I promise you. After saying that, he smiled his signature smile. At the last part of the sentence, the girl, you want the full story, without censorship? Then rush to my Patreon. For just $4 a month, you unlock over 380 episodes of epic fan stories, from fandoms you've never even heard of. From classics like Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, to One Punch Man, DxD, and tons of taboo crossovers found nowhere else. Link in the description, or pinned comment. Subscribe now, and drown in unfiltered adult heat. 1 sub, the entire NSFW multiverse, in your pocket. Covered her mouth with a pen, and her cheeks betrayed a small blush. Finally sounded in the girl's thoughts. At this time, there was a blonde in his head, although no one was interested in it, right? An hour later, everything was ready, during which time they not only managed to disassemble things, but also to explore the house in detail. The only thing Hyuga didn't see was the basement, which for some reason she wasn't allowed to enter, and here, to her surprise, even the Byakugan didn't help. So, having finished with everything, Hyuga plopped down on the sofa, while the white-haired man was making tea to remove a slight fatigue. So 3 minutes of calm conversation passed between the couple, but suddenly Hinata's gaze became cloudy, and before falling asleep, she saw a terrible grin on her husband's face and heard the next words. "Well, let our fun begin." Pow Hinata. When I woke up, my body was aching. Slowly opening my eyes, I saw iron bars in front of me, and shaking my head, my eyes widened as I realized that I'm fucking in a cage. Trying to get up, I failed. So calm, huh? After 5 minutes of fluttering in the cage, I realized 4 things. One is that I'm tied up and naked. It wouldn't mean anything, but there is a but. 2, I can't use chakra. This is already a big problem, because a shinobi without chakra is like a person without arms and legs. I repeat, without arms and legs. 3, it's also somehow related to Naruto, and I'm afraid now that if he knew the truth all this time, then these are 4th and a huge asshole. So, Kainataka, don't be afraid. Think about it, you're sitting in the basement, in a cage, tied up, without chakra. And all this was most likely arranged by Odais of the 2 strongest people in the world. So there is nothing to be afraid of, yes, nothing. No, this is the worst of all. Kamiyi. But all her cries for help were muffled by a red ball gag. End Pow Hinata. After an indefinite time. Naruto's Pow. Well, it's probably time to check it, or wait a little longer. Oh well, let's go, it's time for fun. Saying this with a predatory smile, our hero went to the basement. Going down the stairs, which was found on the street behind the house, an iron door appeared in front of the guy and, strangely, without a handle. But the guy did not pay attention to this. He just bit the pad of his finger and rubbed it against the door. The same one opened with a nasty creak. That's what the guy paid special attention to, was Fuin. 100 is not 1,000. The clones were comprehending this lost art, and even after 8 years, he is a miserable weak chunin, by the standards of the once great village of the Whirlpool. Perhaps if he had a worthy teacher, he would have achieved more, but alas. However, for everyone else, his Fuin is something with something. So okay, we moved away from the main topic, ahem. So, having walked forward and descended another staircase, our hero found himself in a spacious room 2 to 2.5 meters high and about 7 meters wide. As well as in the room there was a cabinet with scrolls with unknown contents, and a chest to the right of it. It was also difficult not to notice the pile of hooks and iron bars located throughout the room. In the center now you can see a cage in which a girl lies, and a very beautiful, cute face, chest of the 4th size, a waist like an hourglass, a shaved, slender legs and a toned ass. At the moment, her hands were tucked behind her back, protruding a voluminous head, and tied in logs and hands, from which a rope extended to a through hole in the rod, on the outside of which a knot was tied. Her legs were spread apart, and each was tied at the knees and joints of her ankles and thighs. Damn it, but her figure is gorgeous. Well, let's have fun right now. Exclamation point. Overseas beauty, why did you lower your head that? I said in a cloyingly sweet voice, mocking her a little and attracting attention to myself. For one thing, the reaction appeared almost instantly. Her head rushed up, and her eyes were directed directly at mine, and how much anger there was in them. But hatred still keeps to itself. But nothing, soon she will lick it out. Meanwhile she tried to say something, but because of the gag, she did not succeed. I wondered what she wanted to say to me, so I loosened my straps and the muffler slipped around her neck. And then Naruto-kun, why am I in a T-like position? What happened? She did. but she needs to be recorded as a world actress. I think it's enough to delay and it's time to act. Well, Hinata, let's finish these games and really open up to each other, I said to her, squatting and taking her chin. After my phrase, her pupils narrowed in fear. Oh, how I like it, ha 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 ha. And pow Naruto. Pow Hinata. Oh no! My fears were raised. What will happen to me? Well, wait, we're only here for a month. That's right. We just need to hold out. But I'm still afraid. I'm afraid of what he will do to me. Then I heard his voice. I see hope in your eyes and I'll destroy her smile. Oh yes, I guess I'll tell you one feature of this house again. It's a frightening and terrible smile. 1 day here is equal to 5 in real. And no, I shouted. Oh, that's a lie. Don't lie. It's impossible. Only if it's not the world of summoning. So don't lie, MGM. At the end of my words, he yelled at me with a gag. Well, what the Tom shouted. And about this, Fuin can do a lot of things, including speeding up and slowing down time. To be honest, then you are still lucky. If I were at least a Tokakabetsu Jonin in this field of art, I could make it so that a whole year would pass. I was sweating from such luck. Okay. Let's skip this moment. I've prepared something for you here. Then he moved away from the cage and stopped at the chest, opened it, and rummaging in it, went back to me, not forgetting to close the chest. When he approached, he spoke. So, I should start coaching you, but you're still a virgin, and how is it connected? Stop! So it's going to be a little awkward. And that's better for you. I threw a questioning look. Why? It's just that today I'm too lazy to fully take care of you, so you'll get off easily on this day. After these words, he squatted down and rushed to I tried to cross no, but I didn't succeed. They were also tied to the cage. A second later, I felt his fingers enter me. I couldn't hold back a moan, although it was muffled by a gag, but I'm sure he heard it. Want the uncensored 18+ part? Only $4 per month on Patreon. 380+ scorching episodes. Fire. I see you felt it. Well, this pebble. He brought an egg-shaped object to my face, which was a maximum of 3 centimeters high and 2 centimeters wide. Will shock you or vibrate you, but it's made so that you can't. Spoke no, this degenerate sang, reinforcing it all with a fucking sadistic smile. With that, I say goodbye to you. Good luck and don't break quickly, okay? Having said these words, he put this stone in the same place as the pill and left. And I remembered all the gods I knew and asked for help, but no one came. At the moment, Naruto, leaving Hinata enjoying the pleasure of the magic stone, went back to the land of fire to visit a certain person. As Kurama spoke, Hey, what the hell are you leaving? Who promised me there yet, huh? Of course, her emotional background was sublime, but that's not enough. Kurama, hush, everything will be, and you must understand that this is only preparation, as they say. Further and better. And if you endure, I will give you control for a clean or two, agreed? Okay, what the hell with you, persuaded. But at least tell me, who are you following? Although I already guess. Tell me why? I've already outlived 2 beasts, so you're bringing another one to me. For what? But I don't need to build a dying fox. I've experienced how good you are in a team, and more than once. And not 10. 43 times. And I remember everything, especially that incident. At this time both of them got goosebumps. Don't remind me, everything just didn't go according to plan. After your not according to plan, I could not sleep for a month and a half. When are you dozing off at this time? Oh well, let's go beyond and I'll go to sleep, said the fox and cut off the connection. Here is the rug, okay, let's continue our way. Somewhere on the territory of the Land of Fire. So, when do you arrive, or do I drop you off? No, I think I'll walk around myself, or I'll be completely petrified, and we're in for such fun. So I have to be in shape. And without any buts. Okay, said the guy, raising his palms to the level of his chest. Look like this. Then how long will we wait for you? I think that in a day and a half I will get there. You will just have time to prepare her more. As always, all the dirty work is on me. I can refuse. No, you can't, or do you want us to unite with her again? Asterisk. And you keep quiet at all, rug? And so you get everything for nothing. Blow to the head. Oh. It hurts. You won't be distracted from our conversation, and you'll deal with your neighbor later. Okay, I'm going to get ready, and you go cook it. Oh no. You won't get off so easily. Asterisk. I pretend that I'm leaving, but in fact I create a clone and send it to the pet, while at this time I hide the chakra and go after the girl. Catching up with her, I make a sharp jerk. At the same time I unseal the leather handcuffs and rope, and put them on the victim's wrists, putting the girl's hands behind her back, and latch the lock. After a couple of seconds, until the girl came to her senses, I tied my knees to each other. Because of the abrupt change of support, the girl fell, and I sat right on her hands with her back, and put on a red dog collar with a whirlpool symbol on which it was written, "Bitch for fucking, Klitschko, Kari, host Naruto Uzumaki." Well, Kari, let's have fun. Need your body? Or do you have other things to do? She only whimpered, because of the Osheznik, on which there is a special fuin, which allows the wearer only barking, whimpering, moaning and screaming in pain. Well, since there are no pretensions, then let's go to the fresh air. When he came out, the guy admired his mongrel, and there is more scarlet hair, and the left side is more disheveled, and the right side is the opposite. It was more docile, crimson eyes, a cute face with red glasses. In addition to all this, a slender figure with 3.7 chest size, a flat tummy, a toned butt and lovely legs. The beauty was dressed in a red tight-fitting t-shirt, short black shorts that tightly hugged her hips, black stockings above the knee and shinobi sandals with a small kabuk. "You're going to kill me after our fun," the guy said, taking out a kunai and starting to approach the girl, who, realizing what the guy wanted to do, began to whine and try to move back, but only stumbled over the root of a tree and fell on her ass. The guy sat down next to her and, fixing her with his feet, began to cut the clothes on the girl. As a result, only stockings remained on her. The guy, without hesitation, got up and pulled out his aggregate, which was 9 inches long. The girl, resigned, and understanding what the owner expects from her, took the hardness in her mouth. Surprisingly, already from the second thrust she was able to accommodate half of the hardness. But when the hardness went too far, inside the throat, a vomiting reflex appeared, which is why she flew off this monster. The owner of this dog did not like this action and he slapped her in the face because of the poor support. The girl fell to the ground from the blow with a horn down, lifting her ass and starting to whine. At this time the guy settled behind and abruptly, without warning, entered the full length with one jerk, reaching the uterus. At the same moment, carrying a screech half-scream across the clearing, the guy did not spare her poor hole, entering with faster and faster thrusts, while the bitch was spinning like on coals, trying to escape, but all to no avail. Suddenly the whole aggregate came out of the worn-out flower, and with the same sharp push entered the anus of the young girl. Another loud scream of pain sounded, but the huge tyrant continued to ram the poor ass. After an hour of such a sharp change of holes carry in turn, the guy took pity and come in the asshole of his bitch, from which she lost consciousness. Half an hour later, Karin woke up completely free, without ropes and a collar. Rubbing her eyes and looking around, she realized that she was in her room. But she was not alone. On the right side of the bed, her rapist was sitting at the table, who was concentrating on some scrolls, not paying attention to anything. The girl carefully approached him and hugged him from the stump, pressing her chest. This was the fourth set. Do you understand that? Soon I will be forced to go out in public only in the lower bill. And it could be a little softer. It hurts the hell in general. It's good that at least the honey chakra saves, the girl complained in a slightly feigned offended voice. We can go about clothes right now, and you also tell me that you didn't like it. Yours took it, I liked it, and I really don't mind about shopping, but what will happen to Hyuga all this time? You don't have to worry about this toy. I sent a clone. So, are we going to buy clothes or not? Let's go. But first I need to wear something, okay? I'm waiting outside, the guy shouted, leaving the room. Meanwhile, at Hinata, Hyuga has already lost track of the time she sits in this cage. Associated, helpless. Abandoned. Though what else was she supposed to expect when the truth was revealed? That he will simply be disappointed in her and simply leave without saying a single word, or that he will forgive and understand how the usual fool will forgive and understand. It's possible. But definitely not at what is happening now. She was tortured, devoured from the inside, humiliated. She would have reached the euphoria of pleasure so many times. But she was not allowed to do this over and over again. Over and over again. She was stopped at the very end, when a little more. But no. And if you now look at the former Heim of the Hyuga clan, which occupies one of the most important posts in Konoha, you will see nothing like the former Hyuga Hinata. You will see a girl who is on the verge of dying due to dehydration and lack of food. Then the door luckily opened, and this damned blonde man entered, who left her here in agony. Approaching the cabinet with the fits, the blonde man was looking for one and found it. Taking the scroll with him, he went to his prisoner. When he approached and examined the girl, he was a little surprised, but did not show it. Yes. You're not afraid you're dying of thirst and hunger, but it's okay, we'll fix it now. These are the only words he spoke. Pulling her out of the cage and untying her, he began to get the sucking out of her. The same tried to put more on his fingers to finally end this torment. He quickly took out his fingers mockingly, while Hyuga moaned pleadingly, in a barely perceptible voice, "You-mol-ly.yud. Diem, Mikeke. Khan." With tears in her eyes, said the once proud, but not yet completely broken Hyuga. "Maybe I'll give you a shung, but before that you need to eat a shafka." After these words, he unsealed 4 small leather bags, strange iron bayonets connected by a single chain and something else. But she did not have time to see it, as she was turned over on her stomach. Then, he pressed the hand of one hand to the shoulder of the same arm and began to put a leather bag on them. Putting it on, he tightened the straps, which caused a wave of pain to go through Hyuga's body. He did the same with the other arm and something similar to the legs. The only difference was that the ankles were pressed against the hips. Then, he turned her over on her back again to put the jellies into the straps specially provided for this. As a result, she stood on all 4s, like some kind of dog. The blonde did not lag behind the girl for a long time, and she decided that this was it. But she relaxed early. Abruptly, something was put into her anus and something began to be poured in. She tried to kick, but a sharp slap on the ass cooled her ardor due to the strongest sharp pain. After he filled the girl's anus with an unknown liveliness, he began to push something into it. The pain was unbearable for the hungry Hyuga, and of course she struggled to break free, but this only increased the pain. After 3 minutes, this hellish torture for Hyuga ended. The most painless thing was the last executory collar. Putting it on, he drove her to the exit for the newly baked dog. It was quite a test. And finally, after a long and painful 15 minutes, she was able to crawl to the kitchen, where she had to become a real dog since she would now eat and drink only from dog bowls. She quickly drank the water without refusing to drink anyway. But the problems overtook Hugo with food, or more precisely, with an incomprehensible substance that she was offered to eat, well, as proposed, although yes, they offered, but with one rule. If you don't eat it, you will have a bracket on the tail, thereby driving it even harder and bringing an incredible amount of pain. Sparrows, so they spent a week until Pow Hinata. During this week, I got more or less used to such a humiliating dog life, and there were minuses and some very huge. For example, disgusting biliberde instead of normal food and just the most terrible punishments, after which I could not even crawl. And so, yesterday, due to the fact that I still did not move well on all fours, and my body had not yet fully recovered from the last punishment. In general, I dropped the vase, and that day I regretted that I wanted to sleep with this man. He took me back to that damned cellar. I, afraid, shook. I wanted to run away, but I understood that I would not succeed. I could only wait for my punishment. Going to the basement, he took off this dog costume and sealed it. Then he ordered them to follow him. We approached the same cage. I already thought that hell would come again. But no. He ordered me to lie on her back to her. Not daring to test fate, I did as he asked. Taking out strong steel shackles, he alternately fixed my hands with the help of shackles to the bars of the cage so that I could not bend the logdi. The cage was larger than rectangular, 1.2 m wide, 2 m long, and 2 m high. He dressed his legs in a large leather bag. Unlike the dog costume, it fastens on the boats, and so along the length of the legs, it ends just above the knee. After using a hook on the ceiling, he hung my legs, and I was in full access to him. And then I realized that he was going to do B. I will hope that at least at first he will be gentle and that his hardness will not be larger than the average X. It was like that. It goes to the calm. So, and again the gag. Stop if there is a gag. C. H.so I will crr.rich, which means that it will be very painful. Even if I were wrong. He comes up and AI. And I saw. I eat it. He will not fit into me under any circumstances, but knowing his new nature. Kami, save me!